Welcome to Two Queens and Crystal Things, the podcast where we are on some manifest your life,
Come on now.
shift your mind, and raise the consciousness type of shit. I am Christy.
And I am Mia, getting over a little laryngitis, but you can consider us your spiritual girlfriends. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
So real quick, last week we talked about, a shift. Everybody a lot of people are going through a shift. They're ending cycles and beginning new ones. And then we can see on a collective, as the collective is shifting, like it's been going down. When I say 2024 came in the door.
Kicked the door in.
Yeah, baby, kicked the door in. Like, what you talking about? So, honestly, it's pretty interesting to watch. But we also just really talked about how people can take advantage of the opportunity of the energy that exists within a collective to help them move through their own transformation and transition. So, hopefully, you guys checked it out. What we got today, Christy?
Okay, so today I have been working with a client of mine on this topic. And she is going through her own awakening, coming into herself. Things in life are just happening, falling apart. Just everything is coming apart. And one of the things that's been a challenge for her is reprogramming herself, or like retraining her brain, retraining the way that she thinks, retraining the way that she, like her belief system. And that's been really hard. And so I was like, you know what, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. So think of it. Our brain is like it's a record of everything we've experienced in this lifetime. So making these changes, especially when we are working on shifting a mindset, it's not a snap, because you are really retraining yourself.
It takes time.
It takes time.
Oh, it takes time.
It takes time. And then, we talked about this a little bit in the last episode. Sometimes you have a regression and you feel like you're backsliding. That's just that brain trying to go back to what it's been used to doing. So it takes a little time.
No, it does. And think about it. Like, I think I shared this too, when I was going through my first divorce, which, my ex-husband was abusive, even though we were separating, I was holding on to that pain. And that pain became so normalized that releasing it, I felt so vulnerable. So I held on to it. And I think that's also something, like, we have a tendency as humans to really enjoy comfort. It feels good. It's what we're used to. It's what we're accustomed to. This is, I know what to expect, even if it's not so good.
But, the saying is better to deal with the devil you know than the devil you don't. That fear of the unknown. So you would be amazed at what a lot of people, once they really kind of go through that healing process, they realize how much they actually have been holding on to, because they're scared. Even the pain. Let me hold on to this, because at least I know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we're gonna talk about it, and I think
Christy's gonna be doing a lot of talking.
Mia has her sexy, sultry voice.
Girl, I thought it was sexy. My dude was like, "No, you sound sick." Damn. I was like, "Baby, you like my sexy voice?" He was like,
"No, you sound like you got cocoa. Get thee behind. 6 feet away."
He was like, "You good over there?" I'm like, "Damn."
You don't like the way I sound.
I ain't sexy.
You like this.
Sound like I've been smoking a pack of menthols a day.
Oh my goodness. Yes, it does.
Newport 100s.
That made my throat hurt.
See?
So, I would say through this journey of mine called my life, it is a constant work. You are constantly, I feel like I'm constantly correcting or re-correcting myself. Like, no, don't allow this to come in. Focus on what it is that you want. Don't focus on what it is that you don't want. I feel like I'm constantly like, oh, nope, don't do that. Or nope, just let's pull it back. And so I get it, releasing the old. But once you really start digging in and you start to understand who you are and you really start to build that relationship with yourself, then everything that people told you about you, that you've been trying to live and fulfill, you can now say to yourself, I don't accept that.
It was interesting. So my approach is I let it come. If I just because I know how I work emotionally, this is one of those, you got to know yourself. For me, I just let it, whatever, if I feel it, I acknowledge it, and it's like, come on. And I address it, whatever it is that I'm trying to, and I'm like, okay, like, why are we doing this? What's this about? Why do you feel like that? Like, is that really what you want? Where did this come from? And the conversations that I have with myself, if somebody heard me, they would probably think I'm bona fide. But, cuckoo. But it truly allows me to be honest with myself. When I feel like I'm pushing something away, that's my trigger to stop and allow it to come. Be like, what is this? Come on.
Yep.
Especially if it's uncomfortable.
That comes with self-awareness.
I'm like, okay, I'm super uncomfortable. I don't like this, but I know me. If I push it, what happens is it just piles up, and that blow off, when that pressure, when that pressure gets too much,
But how did you get to that point? So how did you get to that point? Because I think there are some people who are like, well, how do I even get there? How do I break away?
Truthfully, so many times of not doing it, from so many times of trying to push it down and make it go away and not feel the uncomfortableness. One of your favorite sayings, I don't have time for this right now. Like, I don't have time.
I've gotten better.
But for me, doing that a lot, and the unfortunate thing is, I'm really good at pretending. So I will pretend for myself, which is basically lying to myself so much that it gets to the point where I can't take it anymore. And at this point now, I have to do something for myself big and demonstrative. And so if there's anybody in the in the fallout of that bomb,
Hulk smash.
And that's not necessarily fair, especially when given the opportunity. You always have an opportunity to be honest with people and tell them, like, hey, this hurts, or I don't like that. But after doing that so many times, and I have never felt good after, even though, like, everything I'm saying is true, it never feels good to be like that because I still haven't solved anything. All I did was let it out.
Well, and you just said something that made me think about this, because I feel like that's a part of self-reflection and being aware. But then you also talked about being honest, not just with other people, but with yourself.
I gotta be honest with myself.
Because that's huge.
I'm just in a position where I am no longer, and look, let me tell y'all, this is an asset and a liability. I'm gonna keep it funky. I am no longer able to lie to myself. I can't.
Yeah.
It doesn't even work anymore. Now, it's an asset and a liability, because it's an asset, obviously, because you're being truly authentic with yourself and you're moving in your own energy and vibration. But sometimes when, we're still in this world and when we have to deal with certain things or people, and sometimes it's, I have to be honest with myself that I don't want to deal with something, but I have to. And I literally feel like I'm beating myself up. Like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. But this is something you have to address because it's a part of the world. Yeah. This is a part of, you signed up for this game. This is a part of it too.
And it's funny because you mentioned when something comes up, you're like, okay, let's do this. I've gotten to the same point too. Because before I used to run away. I used to I don't have time for this. Nope. Whatever. I'm going to pretend that I don't see that right now. Yeah. I'm going to pretend that I don't hear that knock at the door.
Right.
And then eventually, the door gets kicked in. You're like, oh, shoot. So being honest with yourself is, oh, my goodness, so important. But I also think that it's important to to be open to learn, because you're going to find that a lot of what you were taught growing up, even about yourself, is not true.
Well, you got to think about it. For whatever reason, I don't have the answer to this, but for whatever reason, I guess, I don't know, maybe it's just a part of what we signed up for. We forget who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And when we start to grow and become aware of the grandness, the most powerful creators that we are of our own life, it doesn't feel fucking real to us, because everything has been given to us in limits and parameters. Mm-hmm. Girls do this, boys do this. In order for you to be successful, these are the steps that you have to take. Mm-hmm. And so people who are successful without taking those steps, we look at them like they're an exception, as opposed to they figured the shit out. So when we think about how many people, when they see somebody successful, and you're like, how did they do that? How did she get that? Mm-hmm. Instead of looking at, oh, dang, she figured it out, or he figured it out, we look at it like, they must be on some bullshit. That's why all these people in Hollywood right now, everybody wants to believe that everybody who's successful right now has had to do something nasty in order to be successful. Now, I'm not saying that they've had to compromise themselves in some way, shape, or form. They've had to sacrifice themselves. And I'm not saying that that's not real, that it doesn't happen. But why can't we believe that there are actually people who are successful as fuck that haven't done that?
Yeah, there are.
So, but it feels better to us to believe, oh, that's why I'm not one of them. Because I didn't, I'm not about to let anybody stick a baseball out my butt. I'm just making up something. Whatever the thing is, So yes, I think all those things exist. But when they do happen, we look at it as, God favored them, as opposed to that they believed in themselves.
Yeah.
As opposed to they understood, like, dude, I'm of God. Like, you know what I mean? Like, mm-hmm. I can't be separate from it because I am. And that's when you really start to deprogram yourself from thinking I can only do this, or this is what I've only been shown. And we're such a group of people who are so dependent upon our sight sense. We depend so much on our five senses that we forget that sixth sense, that intuition, mm-hmm. which is the most powerful sense, and it highlights all of our other senses. That's why social media is so huge. You got to see it to believe it. This is just a lot of people proving that I'm doing. See, I did what I said I'm going to do. Yeah. And people will genuinely feel like if there's no video, if there's no picture, it didn't happen. Even though you experienced it. That's some crazy shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you definitely hit it on the head. And I think also, talking about breaking down those boundaries or the limits that have been placed on us, that is hard. That is hard to it is hard to, I'll speak for myself. It was a challenge for me to shift the way that I was thinking, where I realized that, no, I am God. I am a God. Therefore, it's okay if this comes into my life, or it's okay if that was the hardest, like me finally getting to the point where I'm like, okay, you know what, you are worthy of this. Those boundaries, because man, it's like, oh, I can't, I'm not meant to have it. I'm not worthy enough to have it. I'm not meant to have good things. Like those things that you have to break, that wherever in your life where you've had that trauma that snuck in, getting rid of that was a challenge for me.
You know what I also think, Christy, is that unfortunately we allow things outside of us to determine what we believe is successful. Yeah. So if everybody is thinking the same thing is successful, and that's really not what your internal energy, vibe, and what you came down here to do. But now you're chasing something that somebody else told you was successful. Now you're playing their game. Like I look at, when you think about what you consider wealthy or rich or successful, like I look at people who look so very happy and content with their lives. Remember that woman that I showed you on IG? Oh my God, what's the woman's name? Lily, the one who cooks. And she's like, I don't know where she's from. She's a beautiful woman. She has like wavy hair and she's always cooking. I showed you this one. Anyway, she lives this life like she's always baking and cooking like from scratch. And you can hear her hands in the background.
Her country woman?
Yes.
Yes. She's the one that inspired me to make croissants. Girl, all this time I've been intimidated. You can't tell me nothing. I made some croissants.
Well, you didn't tell me you made no croissants. You know I love croissants.
Sorry, I made a whole, I should make you some.
Oh, so you're going to rub it in now?
No, I should make you some. That was my first batch, so let me...
Queens ain't shit but hoes and tricks.
No, that was my first batch. I
want a taste test.
You just can't give people your first batch.
I said I'm the taste tester because I want to make some croissants too, so I'm glad you did it.
Oh my God.
But she is, I mentioned her because people look at, some people would look at her life and think that she's not a successful person. This woman is amazing. You can feel the love that she is coming off the damn screen.
And then when she and her husband look at each other, it's like...
Girl, she feeds him like, look what I just made. And he just look at her. You'd be like...
He's like, yes, you did that.
And they put up this video the other day. I think she did like a weekend recap or something. And he was backing up there like fishing, boating to the water. She's on the boat fishing.
Oh, I think I saw that one.
It's like she looks rich to me because you can feel that she is living in her authenticity. Like this is the life that I chose. God damn, that's beautiful. Is when you see people living in their authenticity, like this is the life I chose, and not comparing themselves to somebody else. It's inspiring and motivating, and it makes you start thinking like, how much of what I'm chasing or trying to be successful is because of what somebody else showed me or told me. So to deprogram all that bullshit out, especially in this age, and get to what feels good, it's difficult, but it's so fucking worth it.
It is so worth it. Because the peace that she has...
Like when I tell y'all...
The peace.
It jumps off her screen. Like, if you even read the comments, everybody just like, I just love you. Like, I don't even...
Can you adopt me?
Yes! Like, her kids are just running around outside is something, and unfortunately seeing people in that space is not as common as it should be. Like, you know what I mean? You see people just
because people want to see like the rich
and
else, being on their private jet and not having a simple life, but like a blessed life.
And I'm not saying that people, if that's what you want, if the jet life is what is authentically who you are, because trust me, it's like, you know, I seriously think I don't understand why I'm not royalty. I don't get it. But that's jet life isn't necessary. But you know what I mean? Like, I think people should be truthful to themselves. And I don't think that money is the answer to everything.
Oh, it's not.
You already know. I truly feel like it's. Think about the experiences you want to create, and stop putting barriers or limits as to how you can get it.
I was just having this conversation with my sister about money because, and this is where just exploring different perspectives comes in. Money isn't what I thought it was. I mean, now, absolutely. Like, it is energy. And I thought that, okay, if I was in a situation where I was making more money, it would change me. And it didn't. Money, to me, money only enhances or amplifies who you already are. So if you're not so nice person, then money's going to amplify that. If you are a generous and giving person, money's going to amplify that.
If you look at money like a tool.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily, like, think, and I ask people this question all the time when they talk about how much money they want to make, because this is a real question.
All of it.
Right. So it's like, okay, how much money would you need to make to be content or happy? Somebody might say 20 million. Somebody might say 50 million. Somebody might say 250,000. And I say, okay, now what if I told you that whatever you thought you wanted to do or whatever you could have, but you don't have any money in the bank? You want a new house? Somebody blesses you with a new house. You want to be able to get up and go someplace, and the hotels will be like, oh, it's you, Mia? Yeah, come on, we got your room waiting for you. Would you still want the money? And you'll be surprised. Some people are like, yeah, I just need it. I need to feel it. Me, I don't give a diggity dog. Right. It's just because it's the experience. So is it the money? Because what are you going to do with the money? You're going to spend it.
Well, and we've talked
to
about
create
this
that
too.
Experience. But if I could get the experience out the money, it's an energy exchange. So if you look at it like it's an energy exchange, it changes how you view it. It's not the goal. The goal is what you want to do with the resource.
See, in one of our previous podcasts, we've talked about this too, is a lot of times what we think we want comes to us, or we attract it to ourselves, but it's not packaged in the way that we think it should be.
Yep.
And so we're like, no, I don't want that. You miss it. And so it's interesting because there is this particular life that I've written out. I've petitioned the universe. Whatever I've done. And I think about it and I'm like, wow, what if the life that I've always wanted or that I dreamed of is one that I may not have all of the riches in the world, but it allows me to have the peace that I've always wanted. It allows me to do the stuff that I've always wanted, laughing all the time, being my authentic self every day, which I never thought that I could, and doing the work that I'm passionate to do.
Think about it's the same thing with, like, people will make a list of what they look for in a partner.
Yep.
He got to be 6'5", he got to be a millionaire, and all of these tangible things. And then we'll say you meet this dude. Ooh. And he treats you like shit. And he doesn't enjoy the same things that you enjoy. But he can buy you whatever you want. But you're going to go out of town by yourself because he's like, I'm not going to Tahiti, or I'm not going there. I heard they got bugs, or I don't, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So is that really what you want? So I always encourage people, when you are making a list and you are designing and creating your life, or you're creating the type of partnership that you want, focus on the interaction between you and that partner. All the other stuff falls in place. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? How many times have people met that perfect match, that the one that makes them happy and fulfilled, but they don't necessarily look like the package that they came in?
Oh, he needs to be 20 pounds lighter.
I can tell
he doesn't have a six-pack.
He's so, like,
he doesn't
perfect,
go to the gym.
But he's short. You'd be like, wait, let me get wait. He's perfect. Oh my God, yes, he meets all of but he's short.
He's not an attorney. He doesn't drive a
BMW.
Like,
is his neck short? Like, what are we talking about? Like, he's just literally physically shorter than you would like for him to be. Like, how for you 5'3"? How what you talking about? He's short. He's 5'7". He's taller than you. But it's like this, and you get stuck there, and then you're chasing this other piece. And you're going to leave all this behind. And the next thing you know, that man is married to somebody else, happy,
everything
content.
You've ever wanted is right in front of you.
And it's right there.
Right
But you walked away from it because you are trying to fit an image of what we've been fed, the programming. A successful man or a tall man, I'm just using a man because, it looks like this. And if they don't fit that, sometimes we just miss it. And oftentimes, when I think about like the regrets people have when we get older and we're on our last days, I've always said that I don't want to have any regrets.
Me too.
And when I listen to our elders speak, it's never any regrets about the stuff that they did. It's about the shit they didn't do. Like, why didn't I just do it? And now your body is not able to do the things that you could have done, and it's all out of fear. I can't believe I just didn't go for it. Yeah. And if you ask any elder with any wisdom, they would tell you, do it. Whatever you do, trust yourself. Shoot your shot.
Yes.
2024, year shoot your shot.
It is the year of shoot your shot. Well, and you actually brought something up too, is really digging in and questioning yourself. Like, why do I think that way? Or why is it that way? Or why does it have to be this way? Well, who made it that way? And why is that acceptable? I mean, I remember I used to just ask myself, well, why? Well, why? 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 Why?
I honestly think that's one of the best questions you can ask yourself.
Why?
Like, literally in the moment. If someone is ticking you off, if you can allow yourself.
Why is that person making me want to black out?
Right, like what?
What
no,
happened?
seriously, like why is this triggering to me?
Why am I allowing that person
Just
to
like
bother
if you
me?
can stop and ask yourself that question, I promise you, if you're honest with yourself, it will always have something to do with you. It would never have nothing to do with them. It's like, oh, that's what that's about.
And then I'm blaming that person for my actions. Oh, man.
You made me black out. I'm sorry you're bleeding, but you made me do it. No. Like, it's an opportunity to be honest with yourself. But as Christy loves to call it, she calls it the programming. I don't know, the self-limiting beliefs, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That doesn't encourage that behavior.
No.
It is so much easier to blame and move on.
Well, and then also remember we talked about the triggers?
Trigger.
Once you start shifting to a new way of thinking, a new program, I mean, again, let's think of it, you are retraining your brain. Those triggers that used to get you before, where you just want to I see red. Now it's just like, okay, I have something else I need to do. So
I see the observation. Anytime something, because it's very few and far between now. So anytime something I feel could be triggering, now at this point I'm like, oh, what am I trying to show myself? What I need to take care of? Because I refuse to give anybody else that much power over me. I refuse, but wait. This is because of the work that I've been doing and being honest with myself. The way I look at it now, if you can do something that makes me act outside of myself, you're the powerful one over me. That's stupid as hell. I'm not giving anybody that much power over me. You don't get that. I get to choose. I get to choose how I want to react and be in this moment. And that's where we understand we are our own creators. We have control over ourselves. It's I am, not you are. You don't get to tell me who I am. I don't get to tell you who you are.
And then
now
how
we
am
do.
I right?
And if you listen, that's on you. But no, you always have the power to not listen
and then
to that.
how am I going to allow this person to make me move differently than I'm used to moving differently? You know, it's like, so I'm just going to just hand over my drawers your way and just say, here, have them. You know? And now I've gotten to a point, because, you know, before someone would get me so mad or just hit that button and they would know and I would just...
You're like, what? Oh!
And then I say some things that I'm just like, oh, well, you pushed it. But now it's just, okay, what else are we doing? Anything else? Because I just don't have time.
I think, I honestly think that deprogramming is one of the most difficult, but truly one of the most important
it really is.
things that we do for ourselves to get to being honest with ourselves. Like,
and then why lie to yourself? Why tell yourself?
But sometimes we're not even aware we lying, Christy.
I'm okay. The house is on fire.
Everything's fine.
It's okay. I'm good.
I like when I think about, okay, it's a good example. Designer, like a designer bag or some designer clothes. So say, I I don't want to say a particular brand because I'm just using an example, comes out with a new line and it's all over social media and everybody's like, oh my God, did you see the new bags?
I gotta get it.
I gotta get it. And it's like something clicks where you're like, I gotta get it. But if you sometimes stop and be like, I really don't like that bag, it's actually ugly. Those shoes are ugly.
And Uggs. I finally got to a point where I was like, why am I getting these shoes? Because
I refuse to buy them.
Yeah, because they are not attractive.
Like, I just remember, I was like, y'all not gonna trick me. No shade. Sorry,
I'm not doing it. Like I won't say the designer, but this particular designer who is also a rapper came out with some stuff. And I just never understood. Some of the stuff I just couldn't understand. It looks like someone has been living on the street for several years.
But this is what I think is so amazing. If you really think about, for real, the programming of stuff, people were standing in lines buying stuff out. And if you really think about it, did they really like it? Or did they like it because
it gave them a status?
I was told that because there's certain things, if you buy a certain bag, it gives it tells people something about you.
Even Starbucks.
Oh yeah, it tells you something. It tells people about you. And the brands that we engage with, for some people, it is a status symbol. It tells people about who you are without you having to say anything. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. If that's in alignment with who you are. If you are doing it because everybody else is doing it, once again, you're not in alignment with self. You're playing somebody else's game. Yeah. And breaking away from that is so hard because then it's like, now what? And then you start asking yourself, you ever seen Runaway Bride with Julia Roberts? Came out years ago. And in the movie, she runs away. Every time she gets to the altar, she runs away. So she gets to this point where she's just like, I don't even know what I like. And so so they use the analogy of eggs. So with every guy she's with, whatever way he likes his eggs is the way she likes her eggs. So at one point in the movie, she just starts making different type of egg dishes because she wants to know, what do I like? She's like, I actually don't like this. Oh, this is gross, because there's nobody else feeding her who she is. And she's not giving away that power. So she's like, I just need to discover who I am, what I like. That's actually hard as hell to really, but it's worth it, but it's so fun. Yeah. It's like,
once you get to know yourself, you're like, wow, I actually really am kind of dope.
I like me. I kind of rock with her a little bit.
It's like, okay, you're actually, you came with some purpose. But yeah, it's like Mia was saying, it is so important to just do the work, and it's so worth it on the other side, because I'm telling you, the triggers and stuff, like your whole new programming is like, what? Okay, you are now a member of the block party. Bye. We don't ever have to talk again, and I'm good. Yeah. And I think that stuff like that used to nag at me, but now I'm like,
why do you think it nagged at you?
Because I was concerned how people would perceive me or would look at me, or I wouldn't be likable. I thought I was being a bitch, So I was always very accommodating, and because I didn't want to create waves. And so, but I got to a point where it's like, I really don't care what you think of me. What's important is how I think of me. And this is the boundary that I'm setting right now, and I'm done.
The scary part of being authentic, especially when you haven't been in the past, there's a lot of things that you lose in that process. And a lot of people,
friendships, yeah.
The friendship thing is so difficult. And I think for a long time it keeps people stuck in a place because they don't want to lose these people. Because it's not like it's not like you've done anything to me. It's just, I'm over here now, but God is lonely now because this is a new space for me. So we keep straddling this fence sometime. And at some point you got to make a decision. And I'm so glad we're talking about this at this time, because I truly believe that we are at a time where you got to make a decision. Because I feel like there's
stop straddling that
hard
fence.
Line coming.
Yeah, there is.
Where you're not going to be able to straddle. And there will be many people who would choose to stay where they are, even though it's not authentic to who they are. And
Because
that's
it's
their
easy,
journey.
right?
That's
Because
their
it's
journey.
it's easy for them. Doing things the other way is it's too hard.
But I'll be good goddamn if I'm laying on my deathbed
Yeah.
mad that
Like,
I
I shoulda,
didn't
coulda.
choose that I didn't choose me. Come on, man.
Every single time.
I just didn't choose me. That's it. I didn't choose to be authentic to myself. What? Now these people are going. No. I'm gonna ride with me, and I think that it sounds easy.
It hasn't always been like that for me. It has
of course
not
not.
always been like that for me. It's
This
taken
is a
some time.
learned behavior. This is time and work and effort and asking myself the question. Sometimes I just like, I don't have the answer right now, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Sit in the silence of it. So,
What's your takeaway?
well, wait, I got a question for you.
Okay, what's the question?
Okay. What do you think ways are for people to how do you begin to have that conversation with yourself? Like, I know there's like you can explore different perspectives. Like, okay, because we always talk about doing the work and being authentic with yourself and asking yourself the questions. Sometimes it's, how do I get that jump start into something different? So I think being open to listening to people who are different from you, looking at different cultures, different spiritual or even religious practices.
Beliefs, all of it. Yeah.
I do have some simple work we'll talk about in a minute. Anything that you've ever been curious to do, I've always wanted to try. I encourage you to do it, even if you have to do it by yourself. If there's been something that has been kind of nagging at you, like it could be anything, a type of food. Like I've always wanted to try this type of food, but none of my friends want to. I encourage you to do that because as soon as you start stepping into your authenticity and stuff that feels good to you, you're met with similar vibes and energetic and the energetic waves of people who match you. So you will naturally start moving and attracting things. So as you're losing, you're gaining.
See,
But you gotta do it though.
I even see like when you step into something new that brings new energy for you.
Yeah.
But it's like when you allow yourself, when you open yourself to try new things and to just do stuff like, man, I heard about this pole dancing class. Let me just go ahead and do it. Those type of things open up so many different opportunities.
Yes.
You start opening up little areas within yourself. You're like, I never knew I had that in me. Like, oh, okay.
And
I can be a little spicy. All right.
isn't it fun when you
It's so fun. Because
learn
then you
something about
realize
yourself? You're like, oh,
you realize that you're not this person that people created you to be, that you are so much more. And then once you start owning that shit, it's just like, and what? Okay, no, block party. Block.
So my takeaway is explore yourself in every way possible. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Whatever questions you have about yourself, seek it out. Anything you've ever wanted to try, do it.
Yeah.
And don't necessarily wait for somebody else to do it with you. I don't care who it is. It can
The
be
work needs to be done regardless.
right, and that's part of the work, you guys. Go to a movie by yourself. Some people don't.
Now that's something I've never done.
Really? I forced myself to do it when I was in college just because I just wanted to see. And this is how crazy I was. It was a scary movie. It was one of those Chucky movies, I think. Girl, yeah, I just wanted to see if I could. And I think that's when I decided I genuinely don't like fucking scary movies. I don't like it. But it's like, I would go with like my boyfriend or with my friends because everybody,
Right.
and I was like, I just need to see something. I don't like,
I don't like
this.
it. So therefore, I'm not going to do it.
Exactly. Go eat by yourself. Travel. Oh my God. When I say far and away, one of the best things that I've ever done for myself was traveling by myself.
That was cool.
That's one of the best things
Yeah.
I've ever done.
I was like, you know what? We're friends.
Right?
Look, me to me. We're friends.
Like, girl, I can travel with you. And so
We don't argue.
marching to the beat of your own drum without any interference. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
It really is.
What's your takeaway?
My takeaway is just being open to asking yourself all of the questions, even about yourself. You might have those moments where you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, oh, I look so bad, or oh, I look like this, or oh, I don't look attractive. Well, who told you that? And why do you believe that? And why is that your truth? And why are you caught up in the whole thing of like, what makes you feel unattractive? What is it that's making you like just asking yourself all of those random questions? Just be open to it. And I think that that's going to help you start question a lot of the limitations that you placed on yourself and the world around you.
Yeah.
You realize that life is limitless.
So here's your guys' temple work. Break out your journals. I like this. So, right. And this is a great energy to do this in. Jesus Christ. When you start thinking about the things that feel icky in your life, let's say they don't resonate, it doesn't feel good, write them down. Like, just pick 3. Or if you have one, maybe you don't have a lot of them, but pick something. And start to figure out what is it about it that you don't like.
Yep.
Why does it not feel comfortable? And you could just bullet it out real simple. Like, I really don't like my job right now, but what is it that you don't like about that job? Bullet it out. I don't like the work. I don't like my coworkers. I don't like whatever it is, and just allow yourself to keep asking yourself to go deeper. And then take something that feels really good, something that you really truly enjoy, that you really enjoy doing with your life, and then just bullet out, why does that feel so good? And you look at these 2 lists, and you see such a stark contrast. It helps you to visualize and be honest with yourself about the things in your life that don't fit and the things in your life that do fit and why. And it starts to help you make better decisions about what fits and doesn't fit. So if it's a job, that'll help you look, oh, I need a job that I feel like this in, that this is the type of experience in. So when you go apply for jobs, you are very intentional about the type of job, about the type of people. So when you go in and get interviewed, you're interviewing too. You're interviewing them. Tell me about the culture of your place, because you know exactly what you need. But sometimes you just gotta stop and look at, I don't like this and I really like this. Let me go chase this. Let me go here. And it attracts more of that. So that's your homework.
That's a good reminder. Make that list. And yeah, I would love to hear from you on how this exercise has been helpful or how it may have helped you. So,
and thank you for enduring my laryngitis. It's getting better.
Believe it or not, it is kind of getting better.
For real. I could barely get words out. So what's our crystal of the week?
The crystal
of the week.
Astrophyllite. So this is a crystal that I've never actually heard of, astrophyllite, and I just kind of want to keep saying it. But it is, the element is storm. The chakra it's good for all the chakras. I actually went and purchased this crystal because after doing some research on it, I'm like, oh, I think I want that.
Look it up.
So astrophyllite can reveal the hidden pattern of one's divining blueprint or life purpose, and only if you are willing to do the work. So we talked about that. It's important to do the work, and it's so necessary, and it's so worth it on the other side. But this particular crystal, a strophalite, it helps you to shed old habits while amplifying your interests that are more significant in your life and help you to understand your deep, unacknowledged thoughts and feelings. And so this crystal will help to...
Kind of cute.
It really is cute. So it will help to bring up shadow aspects of you to the surface. And it also helps with conscious awareness and self-acceptance and forgiveness. So I thought this would be a really good crystal for this particular episode. A strophalite.
Oh, real quick. I've heard from a few people that their sleeping time has been a little weird. So under your pillows, you guys, we said this like many years ago. How light is a good crystal to put under your pillows when you're sleeping?
Celestite.
Celestite is nice. Celestite. You would keep that in your bedroom next to...
What is it? Angel? Not a stroph. I can't remember. It's a phyllite. It's one of those phyllite things. It's kind of like white clusters. It's very angelic feeling.
Aura quartz crystal.
No, it's like a ostraphite type name. I can't remember. It's one of my favorite. We've actually covered it in the episode.
And if you are, another quick thing, you guys, keep a pen and pad next to your bed, especially this year. A lot of us are in our dreams. We're talking. We're having 5D conversations with people that we are dealing with in 3D. And a lot of times we are getting messages from ourselves to ourselves. So as soon as you wake up, whatever you remember, just write it down. At the end of the week, look over it again. But seriously, because when I tell you, you are your greatest teacher. You are. Sometimes we just need to find a way to remember and recall some of this. So, and if you really want to have a good time at night, put some amethyst. It depends on you. Some people can't deal with the amethyst. But if you want to go have some fun at night,
amethyst it up.
But so yeah, just take care of yourselves, you guys.
Yep.
You know.
And then quickly before we end, this has been a really great conversation and great episode. I just wanted to shout out Love Corkscrew again for being today's wine sponsor.
I've been drinking my tea. I gotta try some.
They are. Can you guys see it? All right, there you go. It's a rosé. It has hints of berry and almond and citrus, and it's really nice and clean on the palate.
I actually like that.
It has a very nice, beautiful color. It's great with fish, salads, and some pastas. And I'm not like a huge rosé person, but this is actually really good.
I'm looking forward to rosé season coming back. I like a good rosé.
This is actually really
and
good.
It's not. I don't like sweet.
And this isn't super sweet.
No, that's actually nice. Just made me hungry now.
Yeah. So thank you, Love Corkscrew.
So you guys, real quick, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you follow us at 2 Queens Crystal Things on IG.
And drink responsibly.
And yes, drink responsibly. And we've recently started recording our podcast on IG so you can see our lovely face. On YouTube. So you can see our lovely faces. Check it out. What else we got? That's it. We love you guys, and as always, light,
peace,
love and soul. Till next time, guys.
Follow us on YouTube.
Follow us on YouTube.
Follow us on YouTube.
Check out your girls.
Follow us on YouTube.
Follow us on YouTube.